if you can hear me. Today we are discussing part 45, Life Under Trump. That's what we're talking about, everything Donald Trump. We're going to discuss Joe Biden as well, some of Elon Musk, and a little bit more. And even some of Donald Trump's cabinet picks that, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi. We got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button as you all are coming in. I thank each and every last one of you beautiful kings and queens for coming to my live. Hit that like button as you coming in. Thank you so much, beautiful people. Again, this is Life Under Trump, part 45. Part 45. This is Hump Day Wednesday, and we're going to make it through it, okay? Yesterday, we discussed the files that Jack Smith released exposing Donald Trump. We discussed Trump's cabinet pick, Pete Hegseth. Today, they had the confirmation hearing for who? Pam Bondi. Isn't that a name? Make me think about Peggy Bundy. Yes, that's what it makes me think about. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Thank each and every last one of you. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me? Put it in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you all. Thank you. One moment, please, just a moment. This is President Joe Biden.
Very good afternoon. Because at long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas. This is the ceasefire agreement I introduced last spring. Today, Hamas and Israel have agreed to that ceasefire agreement and the whole ending the war. Those of you who have followed the negotiations can attest, the road to this deal has not been easy. I've worked in foreign policy for decades. This is one of the toughest negotiations I've ever experienced. And we reached this point because of the pressure that Israel built on Hamas, backed by the United States. I'd also note this deal was developed and negotiated under my administration, but its terms will be implemented, for the most part, by the next administration. In these past few days, we've been speaking as one team. This has been time of real turmoil in the Middle East. But as I prepare to leave office, our friends are strong, our enemies are weak, and there's a genuine opportunities for a new future.
Now, we know what's going to happen. President Joe Biden closed the deal on the ceasefire. Donald Trump coming in with his people. Now, what is Donald Trump going to do? He is going to take credit for President Joe Biden's hard work that he just put in. Donald Trump will take credit for it, and it ain't right. It's not right. He's going to take credit for Joe Biden's hard work. That is so messed up, but that's what's going to happen.
Joe Biden has just announced that they have come to a deal for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and that the hostages will be coming home and they'll be released, which is absolutely amazing news. This war has been going on for way too long. There has been way too much loss of life, and it's going to stop. We can thank Joe Biden and his team for the incredible work that they have been doing over the months and months. This plan is actually the exact plan that Biden had put together back in May. So we can thank Joe Biden and his team for getting this done. This is what the people wanted. This is what he's done. And he will hand over the plan to the next administration to make sure that it all follows through. So let's just hope they don't mess it up. But we can thank Joe Biden for this. Joe Biden has just announced that.
I'm happy about this because everybody's been saying how bad they want to ceasefire and we get our people back. Well, Joe Biden and VP Kamala Harris have now solved the problem. But let's see if Donald Trump see it all the way through. Because you would not have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden to blame if it's an F-up. This will be on Donald Trump because President Joe Biden did the work. Now, the incumbent, it's up to them to finish the good deed that President Joe Biden has done. He closed the deal. One moment, please.
Saddest things Elon Musk has ever done to boost his ego. When someone on Twitter said that Elon was selfish and probably a horrible boyfriend, he paid his mother $2 million to start a Reddit thread pretending to be a jilted ex-lover who missed him horribly. When no one showed up to Elon's 40th birthday, he hired the visual effects coordinator from Lucasfilm. He had him Photoshop everybody in this photo so it looked like people came to celebrate for him. When Elon's kids started saying that he was a bad dad, he hired a family to intentionally set fire to their home so that he could save them. When he arrived, he got really scared and ended up hiring the fire department to put the fire out. He ended up not paying the family back. Elon's dad said that Elon was just a weak little boy with far too much money. Elon got very sad and angry, so he tried to hire Al Pacino to play his father so that Elon could yell at him and call him weak. Pacino said, "Even though I'm bankrupt, I would never work for you." The Cybertruck was released and everybody called it super ugly. Elon got really, really sad. He even offered Zendaya $1 billion to drive a Cybertruck for a year, but she refused. And Elon asked her why. She said because it's fucking ugly. This is obviously satire, but given this guy's predilection for creating Stan accounts that he then runs, is it really that far off? These are the saddest things Elon Musk has ever done to boost.
That's that guy's opinion, but certain things that he's stating, I do agree with him about Elon Musk. He's a loser. He's just a billionaire. That's a loser. Just because you're a billionaire does not mean you're not a loser. He's that guy that used to have any hair as much up in the top, and the guy that had the ugliest face structure, that got work done on his face and got hair plugs. That's still Elon Musk. Pay attention to the sticker on this vehicle. Pay attention to the sticker on the vehicle.
I love your bumper sticker. Thank you. My wife will love to.
No one likes Elon Musk. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Tia, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, Tia. And thank you for coming to help me out today, Queen. Just a moment, please.
Talk about the time America dropped a bomb on its own people. Yes, America. This isn't fake news. It's history that's been erased. Listen up because you won't
hit the
believe
like
how
button,
the story
please.
unfolded. Imagine a community where Black excellence thrived. Banks, theaters, grocery stores, schools, all owned and run by the people for the people. This wasn't a dream. It was reality in Greenwood, Tulsa, also known as Black Wall Street. This was a place where generational wealth was being built. Families were sending their kids to college. Entrepreneurs would get into that bag. Greenwood symbolized what was possible for Black folks at a time where people tried to crush them at every opportunity. A success like this didn't sit right with everyone, especially the jealous, unmelanated folks who didn't like people with color. And in 1921, those tensions literally exploded. Here's how it started. A young Black teenager was accused of moving to a white lady. No one knew if this was true, but the word spread. A white mob formed and saw this as an opportunity to tear up the town. When Black residents stepped up to defend the teenager, things spiraled out of control. What followed was one of the most horrifying acts in U.S. history. Mobs stormed Greenwood, lighting up homes and businesses. But it didn't stop there. Planes were used to drop bombs on the neighborhood. in America. Over 300 Black citizens, including children, were turned to ashes. Thousands were left homeless. And 35 blocks of thriving businesses, culture, and dreams were turned to ashes and dust in less than a day. And it gets worse. But first, drop a light bulb emoji in the comments if you're learning about this for the first time. I'm curious to see what schools are teaching. Also, make sure you like and share this video. Here's the part that...
This is America. This is America. So what's happening to the Hispanics, Mexicans, all that? It doesn't surprise me or anybody of my race because we know what you're capable of. And you say, pull up by your bootstraps. Well, we had our own city and town, depending on just us people, and boom. This old Dunny boy right now in Russia.
I tell you what's more frustrating than watching Donald Trump do all this stupid, reckless shit. And it's this. I've been saying for years now, but really, really loudly for months leading up to the election because I believe in it so strongly, that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. And even fellow Democrats have gone, yeah, I mean, he might be an unwitting pawn. I don't think he's an asset. I think he's just dumb. He's a useful idiot. Okay, well, if he's a useful idiot, then he's a useful idiot that went to Moscow in, I believe, 87. That was his first trip, supposedly. Let's back up a little more. I don't know. I can't remember which happened first. Anyway, he married an illegal immigrant from the Czech Republic whose father was in the KGB. Okay? Czech Republic is former Soviet Union. Her father was KGB. I can't remember which happened first, but after his first trip to Moscow, he came home and spent $100,000 of his own money. Who does that? And that was in 87, so it was a lot of fucking money in 87, right? He spent $100,000 of his own money to put ads in the biggest newspapers in the United States talking about how Russia really wasn't our enemy. Our real enemy is our allies that are just whooping our asses in these trade deals, and we're sending them aid, and we shouldn't be, and they're taking advantage of us, and it benefits them and not us. But Russia's fine; they're not a threat at all. What private citizen do you know who is a patriot to the United States uses $100,000, and I would venture to say that that's at least $500,000 in today's money. I don't know. I didn't calculate it. You should. What American goes and spends $500,000 in multiple newspapers, biggest newspapers in the country, to
Hey, Queen Vera.
say nice things about our biggest geopolitical adversary while shitting on our allies?
Thank you, Queen Vera.
I mean, other than Elon Musk, obviously, who also works for Russia. Think about it. That was the beginning. He also hired Paul Manafort to be his campaign manager. He's laundered money for Russians. He's been investigated by the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, all these people at different times over the years. The CIA and the FBI talk in documentaries that they've suspected him for laundering money for Russians. That's how he's kept himself afloat. Russian criminals have bought his units for more than they were worth. In blind trusts. You buy things in blind trusts when you don't want the seller or the government or any other entity to know who bought what. It's money laundering. I have a theory that the casino failures were money laundering. He didn't really...
We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I believe this guy because I remember showing y'all a video before. It was a documentary about Donald Trump, how he has been in cahoots with Russia for quite some time. He even wanted Trump's tower built in Russia, but it was never allowed by the other leader of Russia. He shut it down. Then come along Putin, someone brighter than Donald, and the other leader that was there. I can't remember his name, right now. But yeah, I honestly believe that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. That's in my opinion. I am entitled to my opinion. You are entitled to yours. You don't have to believe what I believe. And we're going to have, in my opinion, a Russian asset in the Oval Office again. Yes.
This and tell me something that white people.
Hold on. Which we went over some of this yesterday.
Smith makes very clear that Donald Trump was saved only by his own reelection, which is to say he goes through over 174 pages, the evidence that he has. He said, we, for sure, we believe, have enough evidence to convict him, but we had to let it go.
One of the things that the Department of Justice is saying in this report to explain why they made their charging decisions is not only did Trump know that his claims were false after and at the time that he made them, but it was always the plan to declare a victory. And they say that Trump had a plan to declare a victory first, irrespective of what the election results showed. How do they know that? They drop a footnote in which there are citations to what appear to be at least 5 different interviews and grand jury testimonies from people who heard him say that. That's the kind of evidence that's all replete throughout this report and that people like me are going to focus on. He also warned Mike Pence when Pence said, I can't do this for you. I'm going to have to go after you. I don't remember that from prior recitations of the facts here, but he basically told Pence, I'm going to publicly criticize you. And then what did he do in the next breath? He lied to the public and said that he and Pence were in agreement about the plan going forward to throw out votes. When they then got together with John Eastman, and Pence said, look, I can't do that. I can't return these electoral votes to the states. Trump said to him, well, I like the other thing better. The other thing being just throw them all out altogether. That's the kind of detail here that while it's not game changing, there are some additional details here that I think will inform the way that people understood Jack Smith's charging decisions, both in terms of what he did charge and, as Ken mentioned, what he didn't in terms of insurrection and some of the other options that were on the table.
Jack Smith makes very clear that Donald Trump.
Do y'all recall when I had the redacted version that I read to you all last year that Jack Smith released? I told you about how patriotic Pence was. He refused to bow down to Donald Trump and certify the election that he was the winner. That's why they threatened to nuke him. Pence was doing the right thing. He was being a true patriot of the United States. He refused to bow down to Donald Trump and break the law, to do something that's illegal to the country. And he refused to take away from the American people rights to have their votes to count. You did not see VP Kamala Harris and the rest of the Democrats have people go to the Capitol, storm the Capitol, destroy the Capitol like they did January 6th in 2021. Because we have dignity and we are respectful, true patriots of the United States of America. Only fools and narcissists will do the things that they did on January the 6th. You have to have a high level of narcissistic behavior to do what you did January 6th. That is not being a patriot. That is someone that thinks nobody else matters but their race. That is someone their parents didn't teach them to care about other people besides their own race. So I'm going to read something to you all that Donald Trump posted just the other day. But what's so baffling to me, he's not requiring billionaires to pay their fair share of taxes. So I'm going to read to you what he said. Let me take a sip of water right quick, okay? One moment, please. Come on, y'all. Hit that like button. Don't do me like that. Come on now. Hit that like button. Okay, Donald Trump says, for far too long, we have relied on taxing our great people using the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, through soft and pathetic weak trade agreements. The American economy has delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing ourselves. It is time for that to change. I am today announcing that I will create the External Revenue Service to collect our tariff duties and all revenue that come from foreign sources. We will begin charging those that make money off us with trade. And they will start paying finally their fair share. January 20th, 2025 will be the birth date of External Revenue Service. Make America great again. Lord, fix it. I hope Danny Boy don't plan on pocketing that money in some kind of way because he's always scheming. I wouldn't trust him with anything to do with the money. Nothing to do with it. A person that has 34 felonies and lied on all his paperwork to get things done with banks? No. I wouldn't trust him at all.
Are white men. The lead robbers in America are white men. The largest amount of rapists are white men. The highest number of domestic abusers is white men. The highest number of arrested pedophiles is white men. The greatest number of drug dealers arrested is white men. But if you ask the average American who are the proponents of crime, is a black face to it. They're now trying to create this narrative that the immigrants are bringing into crime because they never want to own up to what it is that they have done. Part of our responsibility is to pull the sheets off. We had a shooting here in Georgia not long ago. A young man named Colt, 14 years old, went and shot up his high school. His father's now being charged. Can you imagine what conversation me and you would be having if Colt was black and Colt's black father gave him a gun? The television, the internet would explode on the irresponsibility of black fathers, on why it is that young black men have guns and are carrying guns. It has always shifted to make black men feel hyper-aggressive, hypersexual, and hyper-criminalized. It's part of a larger, historic, original sin of America that always criminalizes and points their fingers at black men when it's absolutely not true. Are white men. The lead robbers in America are white men.
Well, Jamal, they no longer wear that white sheet, hon. They don't wear the white sheet anymore. So that you don't have to worry about. They are the bankers, the bank manager, the doctors, the lawyers, the nurses, especially when it comes to black women having babies in the hospital. Dangerous. We are in danger. Jamal, they no longer wearing those sheets, baby. They out there letting it be known, I don't like your color. And the biggest criminal right now is Donald J. Trump. He has 34 felonies. He's a convicted felon. They may not have given him them 4 years that he deserved. And why? Because he will be in the Oval Office again. But if it would have been President Barack Obama, they would have stuck it to him and thought no more about him. They would have gladly put that black man behind bars. But Donald Trump gets to go sit in the Oval Office and eat more Burger King and McDonald's and get fatter and fatter.
A lot of folks have heard this phrase, right? 40 acres and a mule. As you say, a lot of people thought, okay, this just never happened. And your reporting is called 40 Acres and a Lie. What's the truth behind this program? What do people not know?
What people don't know is that it wasn't just a promise that was broken. People will receive land titles. We found more than 1,250 people who got land titles, men and women. They picked out their plots of land, mostly on the plantations where they were enslaved. Actually, not everyone got 40 acres, which is another misconception. It was up to 40 acres. And then people were living there. They were planting their crops. They were selling them in Savannah. Some of them formed governments, elected a sheriff. They were living their lives, and they lived there for like up to a year and a half before they were kicked off.
How did they get kicked off the land that the government gave them?
Basically, because Lincoln was assassinated. I mean, they had promised this land. They gave land titles. The government said, this is yours. You deserve it. You're going to keep it. But Congress needed to make those titles permanent. They had a majority in Congress who were willing to do it. But Andrew Johnson, he was the vice president. He was a white supremacist. He sided with the planters who wanted their land back, and he vetoed every effort to make those land titles permanent.
You did a little more research to talk about the value of the land. This is an important part of your reporting here. 1 4-acre lot that you identified in Jacksonville, Florida, based on a sale last year, that it would today 40 acres would be worth $2.5 million there. It's not just the land that was lost here in your reporting. Tell me about what else you found.
Yeah, well, just that generational wealth that wasn't passed on. You know, this 40 acres land was all the coast. It's like expensive coastal real estate. We found gated communities, golf courses, and restaurants, incredibly valuable lands. This is wealth that was not passed on. And that's kind of what we're trying to show is the impact. This is not a history lesson only. It's the impact on people who are alive today.
So a lot of folks have heard this phrase, right? 40 acres and a mule. As you say, a lot of people thought, okay, this just never happened. And your reporting is called 40 acres and a lie. What's the truth behind this program? What do people not know?
What people
Their only goal is to take and take. From the wildfires way in California. What do we think gonna happen with that land? They're gonna take and take. Were they set on purpose or was it nature? Land is very, 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 very valuable. And we never received ours.
These facts, it just blows my mind. And I felt like, oh my God, I can't be the only person who knows these facts. The world needs to know. We land people are the only ethnic group that's fought in every single war America's ever had. 10,000 unknown.
Trying to have my live shut down.
Cuba,
Hold on.
Mexico,
Okay,
and
sorry about
Spain.
that.
We land people as sons and daughters of the American Revolution. 20,000 was fought in the Civil War. 120,000.
I rebuke you, MAGA. You can't defeat God.
Latinos fought in World War II. That's a huge sacrifice to the making of this country. We have 60 Medal of Honor honorees. That's the most of any ethnic group. But do we get credit for that? Do you see us in movies? It's crazy how erased our contributions are.
I'm sitting over here like I'm watching the Discovery Channel right now. I feel like I'm going to be at least 5-10% smarter after this.
When I read these
facts,
it just...
Mexicans contribute a lot to this country. Again, California actually belonged to them, but it was taken. Texas belonged to them, it was taken. So many states that belong to Mexico. So that's why Claudia Sheinbaum can talk her smack proudly. One moment, please. Just a moment. This is about Claudia Sheinbaum. And Elon Musk, I'm going to read it to you, okay? Step aside, Elon Musk. While America has South African visionary Musk, Mexico is charging ahead with Nobel Prize winner Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo. At the helm, this powerhouse of a leader is not just imagining a sustainable future, she's building it with an audacious plan to produce electric vehicles at a jaw-dropping price just at $8,000. She's gearing up to take on Tesla $30,000 cars head to head. Get ready. The race for a greener planet is on, and Mexico is steering right into the fast lane, everybody. Let's salute President Sheinbaum, Claudia Sheinbaum. Let's salute her. Give her a round of applause. She is making it happen. And we can't sleep on Mexico, y'all. They came over here and helped with the wildfires. She sent volunteers over here. What has Donald Trump done? Since he want to try to claim the rights of his immunities now because he is the elected president. Well, Donnie, you haven't done anything. But what you did was meet some of the leaders from the Republican Party at Mar-a-Lago instead of them helping with the wildfires. They were at Mar-a-Lago. What about California? So Mexico had to go help the California people? That's your job, Americans. MAGA, why were you not there? You are the true patriots of America. Show us. All you do is come in my chat and run that mouth. Wah, 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 wah. Go away, Charlie Brown. Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Hold on. Gotta wait till the video open up.
Objection, meaning we don't think you have jurisdiction here, Judge, to do any of this, and we're not waiving it. We will respond, so we're not found in contempt of your order. The United States hereby files this supplement. As the United States has previously noted, the final report of Special Counsel Jack Smith comprises 2 volumes. Volume 1 concerns the Special Counsel's investigation and prosecution relating to the 2020 presidential election in D.C. We call that the election case. Volume 2 concerns the classified documents case. That's what we shorthand as Mar-a-Lago. In response to the court's order, the United States believes that nothing in Volume 1 of the final report of the special counsel, that's the DC election interference case, quote, this is the quote from the judge's order, directly or indirectly refers, relies, or bears in any respect upon any evidence or argument relevant to any of the charges alleged against Nauta and de Oliveira in this case. Done. Without referencing defendants Nauta or de Oliveira, however, and this is what they continue on page 2, any conduct by them, any evidence against them, or the charges against them, volume 1 does make 2 references to the classified documents case. The government will provide the relevant text in a sealed filing. Just the text. It's like a passing drive-by reference. That's it. Now, they also remind the judge and the world that, as noted in Merrick Garland's letter he sent to Congress on the 8th, I've done a hot take on that one, on the Legal AF channel, but I'll give you off the printer.
Subscribe to Midas Touch Network. Midas Touch Network.
Some of these things and the report necessary
fair use
to the ranking
and informative
members of
research.
the Senate and the House by the Attorney General on a special counsel process. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. They reference that letter here. Let's face it, I'm 59, and after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to.
Hold on, you
I
guys.
make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found pre-alcohol, Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first it from Jack Smith, where he said, my recommendation is don't release volume 2. Classified documents, only release volume 1 while the case is still pending on volume 2. A letter from counsel of President Trump. Where'd that letter come from? That's a 15-page letter on Todd Blanche's letterhead while he's still a private lawyer for Donald Trump, in which they attack the report. How do they know about the report? Because about 2 or 3 days before Jack Smith supplied both volumes to Merrick Garland, he let, we know this, he let Todd Blanche go into a locked room without any electronic devices or copying equipment and look at, in camera, we call it, the report. They took notes, and from the notes, they wrote a letter. They wanted the letter published at the same time. They've already published that letter because they had de Oliveira and Nauta attach it to one of their filings, which they filed in federal court in Florida before Canada. See? So now they got theirs out before the reports came out. The letter from counsel for President Trump, which was submitted to the court by the defendants, as I just said, requested on page 2 of the filing, that if the special counsel's report was disclosed, that if the special counsel, the letter from counsel
hey,
for President
Queen
Trump
Lady Monet, hey there.
Incorporated into the report. Finally, they say, this is
Vera, I gotta
Department of
find your
Justice,
thing,
if the
Vera.
department
Y'all
is
just listen
permitted
to it.
publicly disclose
I gotta
volume
find
1 or
my
make volume
moderator's
2 available
thing.
to Congress for limited in-camera
Vera,
review.
where you at,
The
Queen?
department intends to also share the transmittal letter from the special counsel, the letter from the counsel for President Trump, and a letter from the special counsel in response. Oh, that's interesting. See, I just learned something new in reading this order. There's a response by
this
Jack
is the
Smith
Jack
before
Smith
he quit,
filing
back to the
that he
Trump lawyers
released,
about their 15-page
that Judge
letter,
Cannon
which we have not
allowed
yet
to be
seen.
released.
Ooh, that's going to be it. We'll wait on that one. Defendants have not sought to block transmission of these documents, but the department will provide all three documents as attachments to its sealed filing in an abundance of caution. So now the judge is fully informed. That's where we are. The only letter I haven't kind of summarized yet for you here is the one on January 8th, where it was announced that Jack Smith resigned. And as a result, the Attorney General was doing their duty as required by statute in law to inform Congress of the results of the special counsel's work. So there's a letter here on January 8th.
Beer, I'm trying to switch you to the main moderator. Hold on.
Members, Democrat and Republican,
it ain't letting me do
for the Senate on the Judiciary Committee. Chuck Grassley for the
I'll
Republicans,
figure out
Dick
later,
Durbin
Vera,
for the
okay?
Democrats on the House side, to Jim Jordan, of course, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and the ranking member, Jamie Raskin, a Democrat. And what it says is, pursuant to 28 CFR 600.9, that's the statutory law or the Code of Federal Regulation law, I write to inform you that Special Counsel John L. Smith, I forgot he had a full name, John L. Smith, given at birth, has concluded his investigation. In addition, the special counsel regulations provide that when the Attorney General notifies Congress of the closure of a special counsel investigation, that notification is to include a description and explanation of the instances in which the Attorney General concluded that the proposed action by a special counsel was inappropriate or unwarranted. In other words, were there any instances where Merrick Garland interfered with the investigation, Bigfooted it, vetoed it, found that any aspect of it, either Mar-a-Lago or DC election interference, were inappropriate or unwarranted? And the answer to that question is no. There was, as Merrick Garland writes, there was no such instances during Special Counsel Smith's investigation. He then outlines how there's 2 volumes. He talks about how Judge Cannon has blocked the release for now. And this is what he plans to do. As I have made clear regarding every special counsel who has ever served since I took office, I'm committed to making as much of the special counsel's report public as possible, consistent with legal requirements.
Well, I'll just say this. Hopefully we do get part 2, because I ran through some of the Act 1 from Jack Smith, which real name we just found out is John. So we kind of know who he is now. So yeah, I would definitely, I want to see part 2. I don't know if y'all care to, because I want to see what all did Dunny Boy do. What were you up to, Donald Trump? What did you do, Dunny? I really want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Elon and President Joe Biden. Hold on.
January 20th yet, and Elon Musk just got sued by the Securities and Exchange Commission under Joe Biden's administration. Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, who's been the thorn in Elon Musk's side for all 4 years, finally got a little measure of revenge after Elon Musk refused to appear before the Securities and Exchange Commission for an interview, filing the lawsuit with just 5 days to go before the inauguration. I'm going to cover it all with my Wall Street experience. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel.
Subscribe to Legal AF.
The violation alleged is what will happen to the case after Trump comes into office and what it means for our financial markets. I'm glad to see the Securities and Exchange Commission has not completely shut and barred their doors. And they've instructed, obviously, their regulators to get their administrative enforcement actions and their lawsuits out the door, especially against somebody like Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk has been battling regulators here and abroad for the entirety of his business career. I mean, one of the reasons he's a major troll and Captain Chaos or Ambassador Chaos in our European allies is he hates regulation. He hates anything that gets in the way of pure capitalism. We don't have a pure capitalist system or society here. We don't even have a pure democracy. But he hates regulators. That's why he's trying to topple the governments in Germany, in England, in France, in Canada, because all of them had regulators that went after one or more of Elon Musk's companies. The Securities and Exchange Commission and Elon Musk.
That's why him and Donald Trump get along so well, because Donald Trump does not like being regulated either. So Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that's why they're friends. For how long, we don't know. We do not know how long Donny Boy and Elon will remain friends, because it's being said that Donald Trump is tired of Elon Musk. I'm going to read some of your comments. Tia said, it never ceased to amaze me how ill-informed Republican voters seem to be. It seems they don't or can't research or fact check anything. They're all too willing to accept and repeat the lies they hear, and the lies come from Donald Trump. And Tia says MAGA is a cult. Okay. Marina Sanchez says, Tennessee, you should be blocked. Who is Tennessee, Marina? Tia, can y'all see who Tennessee is? Thank you, Queen Marina. Tia says, Trump attacked the media. You know why I do it. That's what Trump said. I do it to discredit you all and demean all of you. So when you write negative stories about me, no one will believe you, says Leslie Stahl. Okay. Okay, thank you, Tia. Pleasant Gift says, thank largely to the greed of settlers who drained its waters to create arable farmland. Okay, I get what you're saying. Pleasant Gift. Trular Lake, located in California, San Joaquin Valley, was once one of the largest bodies of fresh water in the whole of United States, but some of the 130 years ago, it disappeared. Okay, you teaching me something. Thank you. Let me take a sip of water, you guys. Lady Monet, hey girl, how you doing? Thank you for coming to my live, Queen. D-Lo says, laugh out loud. Hey, it's like the lady that got her joy stolen from Trump. Honey, have several seats, please. Hart, Bernie says, and just fired himself. Okay. Hart, Bernie says he had 4 years. I guess you're talking about Biden. Biden has not been fired. His term will be up. So make sense in my chat, please. He is a great president. Highly more respected than Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is a Russian asset. Donovan Valentine says the statement cried about, it is about, y'all be putting stuff in here, Lord have mercy. The statement cried about, it is about a stupid A person who says it. Okay. God bless you. Robin says, Trump is a great, God bless you, okay? You're entitled to your opinion. God bless your soul. Because Trump your savior, so he really need to bless your soul. Heidi say accountability, bye, and blew a kiss. I don't know what that means, but okay, Queen. Hart Bernie, we haven't even unpacked. Okay. Trucker 808, Charlie Brown doesn't talk like that. The teacher does. The teacher does. Proper grammar is the teacher does. But thank you so much. Okay, let's see what else I got for you all. We're going to end up getting up out of here. Oh, okay. We're going to show a little bit of Pam Bondi. She reminds me of Peggy Bundy. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Donald Trump sure know how to pick his cabinets.
Trump's Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi just sat with the Senate Judiciary Committee, where she turned in
hit the like button, and if you want to donate to my channel, send me a super chat or a super sticker.
Sides of the aisle. For example, she's exposed herself as an election denier who is perfectly content to do the bidding of Donald Trump, which completely undermines the supposed independence of the DOJ.
I want to ask you a factual question. Who won the 2020 presidential election?
Joe Biden is the president of the United States.
Ms. Bondi, you know that there is a difference between acknowledging it and, I can say that Donald Trump won the 2024 election. I may not like it, but I can say it. You cannot say who won the 2020 presidential election. Okay. It's disturbing that you can't give voice to that fact.
I ask you today, do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, First Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First Senator.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
First Senator. First Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate
think
that.
all
My
of
clock is
I'll
ticking,
answer
and I
your
want to
question.
hear
All of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're facing right
All
now.
of Donald Trump picks are just like
I'm
him.
glad you asked the question about
Never
Pennsylvania.
answer the
Yes or no
question.
question.
I was
Do you have
hoping
evidence,
someone
yes or
would.
no?
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have
I
evidence, yes
traveled,
or no?
Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay, you're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election? Yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or no?
I didn't talk about California because I was not in California. I talked about
Yes or no? Last time I'm gonna ask.
I talked about Pennsylvania because
Mr.
I
Chair,
was there.
I'm going to move on because
You
you're
got a
clearly not
court
answering my
order
questions.
to
And I want to know,
observe.
colleagues, for everybody, members of the committee and everybody watching.
If the nation's top law enforcement official can't acknowledge objective reality in deference to Trump's lies, then what does that suggest about how she'll behave as Attorney General? If she doesn't have the spine, the courage to assert her autonomy now while she's applying for the job, then there's not a chance in the world that she'll do it once she's actually confirmed. In fact, that point was driven home even further here.
But let's imagine that once again, President-elect Trump issues a directive or order to you or to the FBI director that is outside the boundaries of ethics or law. What will you do?
Senator, I will never speak on a hypothetical, especially one saying that the president would do something illegal. What I can tell you is my duty, if confirmed as the Attorney General, will be to the Constitution and the United States of America. And the most important oath, part of that oath that I will take, are the last 4 words, so help me God.
She would never dare humor even the suggestion that Donald Trump, the beacon of truth and honesty, would ever commit an illegal act. Senator Cruz, please get Pam Bondi her smelling salts. She's feeling faint at the notion that Donald J. Trump would ever even allow the thought of doing something illegal to enter into his brain. And frankly, other than his 34 felony convictions and indictments in Georgia and Washington, D.C. and Florida, Trump is the beacon of virtue and integrity. In fact, Bondi's ignorance at Trump's criminality was a recurring theme in this hearing.
Have you heard the recording of President Trump on January 2nd, 2021, when he urged the Secretary of State of Georgia to, quote, find 11,780 votes and declare him the winner of that state?
No, I've heard about it through clips, but no, Senator, I've not heard it.
What was your reaction to President Trump making that call?
I would have to listen to the tape, Senator.
Well, the quote that I give you is exact. He said to the Georgia Secretary of State, find 11,780 votes.
Do you have the entire context of that call? I feel like it was much longer than that and may have been taken out of context.
It was an hour long.
Right.
You can certainly listen to it. I hope you will. Every American should. As a former prosecutor, are you not concerned that the President of the United States called a state election official and asked him to find enough votes to change the results of the election?
Senator, I have not listened to the hour-long conversation, but it's my understanding that is not what he asked him to do.
Well, Peggy Bondi is lying, y'all. She said she heard clippings like I did. But Peggy Bondi insists on lying for her savior, Donald Trump.
And there was
Really,
a decent
girl,
chance that
really.
they know about the conversation that Donald Trump had where he attempted to pressure Brad Raffensperger, the Georgia Secretary of State, to find 11,780 non-existent votes in Georgia. The fact that the nominee for Attorney General of the United States says that she hasn't listened to it is a testament to either her lack of honesty or her
Lack of
obliviousness.
honesty.
But second, it's her understanding that it's not what he asked him to do. Then what exactly was Trump seeking to do by asking Brad Raffensperger to find exactly one more vote than the amount that he lost by? Was it not to anoint himself the winner of the election that he lost in that state? If you can tell me what other reason he would have for trying to find one more vote than the margin he lost by in Georgia, I'm all ears. But until then, I think it's clear here that Bondi is lying. And it's not just Trump's criminality.
Bondi definitely is lying.
Totally ignorant of any issue that casts Donald Trump in a negative light.
She learned from the
He
best,
has
Donald Trump. She's definitely lying. That she is. And it's a shame. I'm going to take a sip of water. One moment, please. That's all I have for you beautiful kings and queens today. Before you leave out, please hit that like button. I will be back tomorrow, but Friday I will not be going live because I will be on set filming for a new TV series. So I will be here tomorrow, but I will not be here Friday. I want to thank each and every last one of you beautiful people. Hit that like button, please. Y'all have the rest of this evening and enjoy yourself. Have a great meal and get plenty of sleep. And what? Drink plenty of water, please. I love you guys. You take care. God bless.